this is Karen with Grace Be Creations, and I am doing a video for the Teach Me Tuesday. I am really liking this series a lot. I've had a few people ask me, beg me, plead with me, and saying, can you please show me how you emboss paper? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, oh gosh, why isn't this plugged in? I'm going to share with you all how I emboss paper. There we go, for the Teach Me Tuesday. It is pretty simple, but you have to have an embossing machine or an embossing, the one that you crank. It's actually pretty easy if you have the right materials. And I'm just going to quickly show you how I emboss my papers and the different papers that I use for embossing. Let me just shut my text off. So the first thing is this is the Big Shot, the Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus. This is actually an automatic machine that's plugged in. It's not the crank one. The other ones you have the crank where you crank the plates through. This one has the plates, same thing. You've got your top plate, you've got your thinlits plate, you've got your regular board, and then you have your bottom plate. And depending on what embossing folder you use, all depends on if you use just this in this or just the bottom in the top. So it's just like the regular embossing. You'll have to go by the directions of which embossing folder you're using. But I'm going to show you how people have asked me how I embossed full pages. Well, first of all, Laura Mitchell sent me a full-size embossing folder. But before I got this, which life is much easier with this, now I can order a bunch of full-size. I never even knew they had full-size embossing folders that cover a whole A4 paper. But what I would do before is I would double emboss, and I can show you how to do that. So you have your embossing machine, and I'm going to take my plate and put it on top. Now, this is the best I could record, so I apologize if it looks a little wonky. The same with the sewing machine. I don't have a better way to show you how to do this, and I can't do it holding the camera. I cannot do this one-handed, so I'm going to do my best to show you guys as best as possible how I do this. Now, I just want to mind you, this machine is loud. It's going to sound loud. It's normal because it's automatic and it's pulling through an embossing folder. So let's just keep that in mind. All right, so the first one I'm going to show you is people want to know how I emboss on cotton paper. I get this cotton paper online. It's deckled edge and cotton paper. I usually like the blue. So I'm just going to take this square blue paper and I'm going to grab, now a lot of times I try and find the embossing folder that fits with the paper, and if not, I will double emboss, meaning I will go, like say if I had a small embossing folder, I would emboss half of it and then I'd emboss the other half by lining it up, and that's how I make them larger. But I do have large embossing folders. This is a large embossing folder by Spellbinders. This is one of my favorite embossing folders. It's 3D, so which means it's got a lot of depth to it. So I'm going to place this inside the embossing folder like that. Place it on top of the plate. And with this one, I believe it's not the bottom plate, but this plate and the top plate. Okay, so I'm going to take this and put it through the machine. It's going to be loud for a moment. And it just goes through. Oh, I'm running out of room here. I usually have a lot more room to do this in. Okay, so then I'm going to take it out. And there is my embossed paper. And now, a lot of people will say my embossing doesn't come out as well. Well, you have to make sure that you have, first of all, you want to use the right pressure. You have to use the right plates when doing the embossing. On the front of the embossing thing, it tells you what plates to use for what embossing folder you're using. This is a 3D embossing folder. So for a 3D embossing folder, you want to use the Thinlit and the main plate and then the top plate. If I try to add the bottom plate to it, it won't go through. It's too thick. For anybody who uses the embossing machines, the crank ones, you know what I'm talking about the sandwich. You have to create the right sandwich. Okay? Now, you can also, another way when doing 3D, if your embossing doesn't come out as good, you can you can take a spray bottle and spray your cotton paper with water. That also does it too. But that's that one. I absolutely love this embossing folder. Another one by the same Spellbinders is this one. I'm going to show you how I do that one, but I'm going to use a different kind of paper. I'm going to use regular cotton paper. This is actually this is linen paper. So I'm going to go ahead. Now the nice thing about this embossing machine is it prints 9 by what's the size of this? I think it's like 9. It's a little bit bigger than 8.5 by 11. It's like 9 by 10 or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to place, all right, this is where I'm going to show you how I do a double embossing. I'm going to emboss just the edge here because I want to emboss this side of the paper as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. And I'm going to put the top on. And then the top. I'm going to put it through. Sometimes it's a little hard to push through at first because it's thick when you first start it. Let me just place this back a little bit. And now what I'm going to do, so you can see how nice that came out, right? Now I want to add a little bit more to the side. Oh, it might be a little bit tricky though, but it's going to be wider. I do a lot of the doubling up with the smaller folders because the big ones are big enough. So I'll show you with the smaller folder. But that's how I do a 5x7. I think this is 5x7. This is, let me get my measuring tape so I can tell you what sizes these are. Okay, this is it's like 8.5 by 6. Wait a minute, 8.5 by 5 3/4. This embossing folder. The plate, the whole plate is 9 by 12. Oh wow, I didn't think it was 12. Okay, 9 by 12. This is a pretty big plate. So you can do more than one embossing folder if you use the smaller ones. And when I say smaller, let me see, where's my smaller ones? These ones here. Okay, you can actually fit 2 of the smaller ones on here. But people have asked me how I emboss on one paper, making it larger before I got the larger folder, before I got the larger folder. Alright, so let me show you. Hold on. I have a regular piece of cardstock here. This is not linen, not cotton, it's regular cardstock. And what I'll do is I will just go and I'll print, I'll emboss just this one piece here. Like that. Now this one is a thinner embossing folder, it's not 3D. So with that one, I'm going to be putting the bottom plate on, the regular plate, and I believe both of them go on because it's a thin plate. I think. Sometimes I forget. Nope. Hold on. I think it's the bottom plate and then not this one. It's just the top. Okay. Sometimes I forget which one goes to what. There we go. I love this machine. It is so awesome. And those popping noises are very normal. Alright. So I did that one. See how it's a little bit more flat? That's normal because it's not a 3D. And what I'll do is I will line it up. There's going to be a little space right there, but sometimes I will use that and put a bow in that little space there so you can't see it. Okay, let's do this again. It's so nice not having to crank it. Oops. Why was there pushback on that? Oh, I wasn't supposed to put that part in. All right, let me line this back up again. I forgot. I'm not using the green part. There we go. And that popping is normal, like I said. Okay. So now you can see I've got like a double embossing. Oh no, it went flat. Oh, that's right. I forgot that on regular cardstock paper it'll go flat. Okay, never mind that. The only way I can say, you have to use 3D. It's hard. You have to use a smaller 3D folder like this one here. What I'll do is I will take a regular cardstock paper. I'll have to get another one. And I'll do one print there. Let me just do it over here because I can still do it over this. It'll still go over. This is from Sizzix now, this 3D folder. Now with this one, I don't need the top plate. Actually, I think it's just the top plate and not even the bottom one. I think it's just this and this. Because the 3D is really thick. From what I remember, you don't use the bottom one. And like I said, it's all written in here when you get your kit. Okay? Yep, that's the one. Just the 2 plates on this one. Okay, so this is the 3D one. Okay. Look at how nice that comes out, right? And what I'll do is I'll just go and I'll do one right next to the other one. Like that. And that's how I get my longer ones. But a lot of the times I use the larger embossing folders. I don't do this method too often. A lot of people ask me how I get the larger embossing. See how it got, I did it together? See how nice that is? And then I'll cut it and use that in my book. And that's how you do it. But a lot of times I'll just use the larger embossing folder by Spellbinders. And those are 5 3/4. I think I just already measured this. 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. Pretty big. And they're awesome. I can put a link below to get these, okay? So that is how I emboss. I use this awesome machine. Now, while I have you here, I'm going to pause really quick. I have an order for my Dunkin's coffee. I need to go grab it really quick because I don't want it sitting outside. I need my coffee this morning while I make my videos. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I'm back with my Dunkin's. Got me an iced coffee this morning. Okay, so here is a vellum envelope. Now this is a lot of fun, okay? A vellum envelope. Now, embossing the flap. All right, I did this in my flip-flop journal. Let me show you. Got my flip-flop journal here. And then people asked me how I did this right here. All this is the vellum envelope, and I embossed the flap. Okay, so much like the same, I'm going to, let me see. Which one do I want to use? I like the look of like floral on the front. So I'm going to, actually no, this is a larger envelope. Before I had the smaller ones, I'm going to have to use my larger embossing folder. What I'll do, my other favorite, is I have this folder here. This is one by Spellbinders as well. This one, absolutely gorgeous, okay? Oh my gosh, the butterflies in this, look at that. It comes out so good. I can either emboss the whole entire envelope or just the folder. Now, when you go and emboss the folder, you want to make sure that you are embossing the part that has the indent in on top, because you want the puffy part, the 3D part, to be on top. So always make sure that your indented part is on top. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put my flap in. Now I don't want there being, I'm wondering if I should do it this way and then flatten out the envelope, because a lot of times you'll get like a space here, and I want to get the whole entire flap. Sorry if my hands are all in the camera, but this is the best I could do to record it. Alright, so I'm going to put some of the crease in there, because I don't want that space being there. Oop, and shut it. Alright, so I'm going to shut it just like that. Alright, just the flap is inside the embossing folder. Alright, this is the 3D one, so I need to do no bottom. And I believe, this is the hard part people get confused about, is how to sandwich it. I always forget with the Spellbinders every time. I don't think I use this one. I think I just do this one. I think it's much like the 3D one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it like this. I'll test it out and see if it works. Nope. I can already tell it's going to be too thin. You can tell if it goes in too easily, if it's the right combination. It needs to have a little bit of a hardness going in. You know it's going to grab it. So I need to do it this way, but I want to move this down just a little bit, like that. Embossing with these machines and the crank, it took me a while to learn it. There we go. See how it like took a few minutes to grab it? That's what you want. Hear it? That's normal. When I first got this machine, I thought it was broke because it was loud. It's normal. It's not super loud, it just sounds loud. Okay, watch this, guys. Look at that. Look at how gorgeous. Okay, now I'm going to fold it. Be careful folding it because with 3D on vellum, you're going to get, it might rip because it's 3D and it really, and it embosses it. So you could have some parts that like kind of rip a little bit, but this one came out good. And I'll link these envelopes below. Laura actually told me where to get these. I got this idea from Laura. Actually sent me, I've done envelopes before, but not vellum. And she sent me one of these in the mail with the Happy Mail. And I'm like, okay, I need to do that now. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You can also do the whole envelope as well, but it just looks really pretty just having that top part in there. Right? Because you can slip it into, you know, a junk journal. You know, like have it over a piece of paper. It looks really pretty. And like I did in my journal, you just line the outer edges and then put that little pearl on the end. It looks so pretty. Now let me show you what it's like to emboss a whole envelope. And this time I'm going to use this one, which is my favorite. I want to have the indent on top. I'm just going to go ahead and put the whole entire envelope in, but I'm going to take the flap out and I'm going to put the flap underneath like that. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if I put the whole entire envelope in, then the flat part is going to be the 3D part is going to be underneath and not on top. Okay, so I have to do it twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this part here. Now, when putting it through the machine, you don't want to have it right here on the top, right to the edge, because it has a hard time grabbing it. You want to make it come back just a little bit so that as it comes into the machine, then it grabs it and then it pulls on that. Trust me, I've done this so much. It's hard to explain, but sometimes it won't go through if you don't do that. And that popping that you hear is just the edge of this being done. It's just the machine going from here down. Whoops! From that edge part down. So don't worry, your machine is not breaking. Okay, so now we have the top part of the envelope embossed. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that angelic? Now we're going to do the top part. You don't have to do the same one. You can do a different, like you can do floral on the top if you wanted, but I'm going to do the same one. Alright, so you can also look to see where you want your placement. Like there's more flower on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss just like that right there. Place it on top. And that's normal for all this to be scratched and everything. That's from all the use. Nothing's wrong with it. It works perfectly fine. When you get yours, if you buy one, it's going to be clear. It won't stay that way. See, now you have the embossed part on top like that. I'm just going to fold it over. Now you have your embossed top and your embossed flap top as well. See how pretty that is? Oh my goodness, I just love embossing these vellum envelopes. And you can do vellum paper as well. Okay, here's another one of my favorites. I love this tall slim. This is called a slim folder. This is from, I got this on HSN. This is by Anna Griffin. I never know how to pronounce her name, but she has beautiful embossing folders on HSN. And what I'll usually use this for is when I do my flip-flop journals, you have the longer, slimmer journals or whatnot. I use that a lot. And what I will do, let me grab another piece of paper. Oh no, it's vellum. Hold on. All right, so I'm grabbing a piece of linen paper, and what I will do is normally for a slim journal, you will have an 8.5 by 11 regular piece of paper folded in half, right? Give or take. Sometimes you trim it. It's a little bit shorter. Actually, let me cut this to size because I want to show you how it looks to size. So my journal is 9. I think it's 9. Let me check. I don't know why I don't know this. 9.5. And then four inches wide. Okay, so I'm gonna want to trim this up a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna trim this up a little bit so I can show you exactly how to make this for your slim journal. Okay, that was another question someone asked me. I'm gonna do 9.5. I'm gonna cut my paper ahead. 9.5 by 4. Okay, so there is a paper for my slim journal, flip-flop journal, okay? And what I will do is, you're like, well, that embossing folder is not the same size. It's a little bit short. That's when I will do the double, which people are asking me how to do. Now, I'm going to emboss the front, right? I don't want to emboss the whole thing, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put just the fold part in there. The bottom's down there, right? I'm going to place it on the bottom. So there I have that much left over, right? So, okay, let me think for a minute. Yeah, this is the same thing. This is a 3D as well. So I believe it's, is it the bottom? Yeah, that's the tricky part of the whole thing, is knowing what combination to use. I believe this one is also just this one, but for some reason I'm thinking it's this as well. I'm going to try it and see if it pulls through. I always forget. And you'll know because it'll push back out. Yep, that was the right combination. The nice thing about this machine is if it's not the right combination, it will push it back out. It'll literally push it backwards. And there's also a button. Let me show you. There's also a back button that you can have it pull back out as well. So if you don't make the right combination, don't worry, you're not ruining your paper or anything, or your machine. All right, so there you have the leftover bottom. Now, you can keep it that way, put a bow here, and just have the bottom part with like a piece of lace. Or if you really want to cover the whole thing, I'm going to try and line it up as best as I can. There might still be that space right there, but sometimes what I'll do is I will go up like this, and if there's a space there, I'll use that to put a piece of ribbon across, which is kind of cool. It looks kind of cool, but a lot of times I try to just line it up. So I'm going to show you. I know I'm going to get a space. Actually, hold on. Yeah, there's going to be a space, but I'm just showing you how I do it. Okay. Okay. Oops. Ah. Okay. See how I got that little space, that little line there? It's not too bad, actually. I did a pretty good job. Now, if it really bothers me, I will just go and put a nice ribbon there. That's why I would choose to continue it this way, where I go halfway in. Because if I'm going to create an empty space, I want it to be in the middle. That way I can take a nice piece of ribbon and just go along the center of that. But that's pretty much how you do a full page if you don't have the larger embossing folder. And then if you don't want to just do the front, you want to do the whole entire paper, you can just go ahead and do the whole entire paper. You know, if you don't like the way that little part is with just the front, you don't have anything on the back. Actually, it's showing right there. You can also do the whole paper. You can actually go and put your paper back in and re-emboss it if you don't like how it came out. It'll actually fix itself. Like, watch. I just embossed that piece of paper. I can redo it. Now, because I'm using... Hold on. Let me just straighten this out. Let's try it. Let's see how it comes out. I've done that before. Yep, see? I just re-embossed it. That actually came out good. You can't really see it, but now the whole entire paper is embossed now. So what I would do with that little space there is I would take a ribbon or a piece of lace and just kind of like, you know, put it across the bottom so that you really can't see it. But that way you get your whole paper embossed. So that's how you do that. That's for a slim journal. I'm going to leave a link for all these embossing folders and everything so you guys can get this machine if you want. And all of this applies to the crank one as well. They have a bigger crank one. I think it's the Big Shot Plus. I think. There's lots of different ones out there. Let me show you how to emboss a bag. Let me just grab this really quick. Alright, I've got, here we have a snack bag, right? Same thing. I want to emboss the front of it. I'm going to want to use, now, of course I'm not going to use that because it's too small and it's too complicated to try and do it all like that. So I would either use the large one that I just got, or I would use, I need to get more of the ones that I love by Spellbinders because I am loving the Spellbinders. Right, so same thing applies. I'm going to put the whole bag right inside. Place it on top. I believe it's... I always get confused about which combination to do. Yep. Alright, here we go. It is so easy, guys. So easy. I love embossing. I enjoy it. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys another trick. Okay, you're going to love this. You're going to take an ink pad. And I hope this is answering everybody's questions. I mean, it's not really anything I'm really teaching. I'm just showing you how I emboss my papers. It's the machine that does it. It's just about knowing what combination to use, which embossing folders to use, and how to maneuver it for different papers that you want to use. All right, okay, I want to ink one, so let's do this one. This one's pretty. It's got flowers, okay? Now, I'm going to want, all right, I always get confused on how to do this. I think I do the top part. Or is it if I want all the pink, yeah, that's what I want. The part that's indented, I'm going to take this pink ink, right? And I'm just going to go along the top of it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink. And it comes off. It cleans off. You put it under hot water and it comes right off. All right, so I'm only getting the parts that are around the indent of the flower. Okay? Wait until you see how this looks. So you have it like this. The flowers aren't inked because they're indented. Okay? Oop, I skipped a part here on the bottom. Just run it along the top. Don't press in. You want to just glide it over the top. Okay? Now, we're going to take a piece of white paper. Like this, okay? I'm going to place the paper right over easily. Okay. Okay. Nice and easy. Now, I'm going to do my combination. Place it on top. Now, this combination, I've got the top, the thin lit pad. I forget what they call this pad, but I don't have the bottom glass. Okay, it's a 3D. I'm going to push it through. All right, y'all, watch this. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Just the top part is white. How adorable is that? So what I'll do is I will take my cutter. And I'm going to trim. Okay. Be careful with your hands because it's going to have some ink on it till it dries. Okay. You can do this like with all your colors on different ones. It works best with the 3D embossing folders. It works best. It doesn't work good with, like, it won't work as good with like these ones, the regular ones, because there's not enough depth to have the ink and the emboss part. There's not enough of a 3D and indentment. I don't even know if that's a word. I think I just made that up. All right, I'm just going to trim this with the scissors because I don't want to cut it. All right, look at that. Look at how gorgeous that is. Okay, you take that, right, and you get yourself a piece of vellum. Put it over the piece of the vellum paper. Look at that, right? And you take it and you glue it, or you can stitch around it and have either a pocket, right? You can have like a little pocket, or just have it as is. You have this gorgeous paper, but look at that. You can do it with gold. You can do it, there's also a way to do it by just having this part colored, and I will show you that next before I end the video. Okay, so let's do that. So now I'm going to take the other, I'm going to do the butterfly one this time, because this one already has the pink on it, and I don't want to get up and clean it. Let's see, let's grab the butterfly one. And this time I'm going to color the part that is up, which is the bottom. So you can feel the raised butterfly, right? You can feel the raised butterfly. So I'm going to take my ink, and again, I'm just going to take it and I'm going to go right over the top. I'm not going to press down, just over the top so that just the raised part is colored. Okay, looks a little weird, but I forgot how it looks reversed. I don't remember doing it this much as much. I usually do this when it's already been embossed. I'll go over the top, but I think I've only inked it once doing it this way. All right, so I have all the top with ink on it. Now I'm going to take my paper, same thing. I'm going to do it. Okay. Same deal. Okay, what did we get? Now see, now you have the indented part with just the butterflies colored. I personally like it the other way around, but this is just as cute because you have the indented part with just the butterflies with ink on it. All right, now one more trick I want to show you, and this one is really cool too. But I have to clean it off. How am I going to do that? Well, let me try it with, can I do it with this one? I should be able to do it with this one. This one's, yeah, I'm going to do it with this one. Okay, one more thing I want to show you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to emboss this folder here. Run it through. Okay. All right, so as you can see, we have a nice embossed flower on there, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually use a different color this time. I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use Victorian Velvet. Okay, I have my Victorian Velvet, and I'm going to ink just the top of the paper. Oh my gosh, I just swallowed air. Just the top of the paper. Let me see, am I in line here? Okay, now watch. I'm not going to press down. I'm just going to lightly glide over the top. Now it might not work as good with this one because, I mean, it's 3D, but it's not as 3D as the butterfly one and the flower one. I just want to glide over the top. And you get like this really cool effect around the edges of the flower. It didn't come out as good. It's not as 3D as the other ones are. Do I have an example of the other one? Here's one that I did earlier. Okay, this is the flower one. I'm just gonna lightly show you. Wait a minute, is that part's embossed, but the other one's not. All right, I'll just do this side. You just go over the top. I think this ink is drying out. If you just glide over the top, you'll get just the floral like that. But honestly, I think it's easier just to do it the way I showed you the first time with the first one that I showed you. But this is gorgeous. I absolutely love this look. Definitely give it a try. The color that I used for that is, if you want to know, is, this one is Worn Lipstick. Worn Lipstick. So, all right, guys. So that is a little bit of a tutorial of Teach Me Tuesday, how to emboss different ways, how to emboss. I'm going to link everything below. You can emboss almost anything. You can emboss on linen. You can emboss on vellum. You can emboss on paper bag. You can emboss on, I've even done fabric before. You have to spray it with water though. Tea bags. I've embossed everything but the kitchen sink. The only thing you can't emboss is like wood or anything. You know, I wouldn't put anything like that through the machine, but you can emboss any kind of paper. You can emboss the shiny paper. That's a lot of fun to emboss because it looks gold. It's really cool. Try it. Just try everything that you can think of, you know, that's safe to put through your machine. But this is how I do my embossing. Everybody has asked me, this is the cotton paper, and like I said, if you can't get the embossing to come up that strong, try spraying some water on it. That'll also be helpful. All right? Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Definitely hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment. I love answering your comments. I love to interact with you guys. I am back to making time to answer my comment, so leave a comment below. Let me know if you're going to give this a try, and if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me below, and I will try and help you as much as I can. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this Teach Me Tuesday, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, guys. Bye!